Yeah, we're Studio Basic, and we are especially yeah, honored that we were invited by the thexcollab because we feel that our studio practice also, yeah, really resonates with the thexcollab, or at least like how Studio Basic actually came about to happen. And I did kind of hit on this before when we just met on Zoom, but like Studio Basic was funded about like a little bit over a year ago, when Carolina and I, we were like finishing our master's degree at Central St. Martin's in graphic communication design. And we were just flustered by this all sudden change of working environment, kind of that the community at Central St. Martin's, just like everybody went home, and everyone kind of got scattered around the globe again. And like we felt that this lack of community was really something that we did not expect, and that we found ourselves a little bit helpless in, and that something we realized is just so important to be inspired and produce work that you like, that is meaningful. So we funded Studio Basic to kind of facilitate conversation with other peers of Central St. Martin's, or with UOL students in a wider scope, and to start collaborating on projects together, and like really learn from each other, and like everyone brings in their skill sets, and just like also together explore new media, and also like explore what kind of digital communication means in this past year that we've all been through. And then then we graduated, and then we just decided to take this very serious on like full-time professional level, and to not only pursue Studio Basic as like a platform for collaboration, but for our actual full-time job. So I'm gonna use today's talk to present you some of our projects that also show a lot of like media that we like working with, also like some work in progress, because we think that's always exciting to just not only show finished projects, but also like focus on like the progress, because we're always in progress as creatives, designers, etc. And and then I guess we'll have some Q&A time after this small presentation. So without further ado, I will start. So I want to start with the first project that we worked together, and that was still in uni at Central St. Martin's, and that was our first collaboration. And Carolina and I, we just always found working together just so much more fun than working on our own projects kind of individually. And we would always stay longer at uni and just like work simultaneously. But then we were also really into like maybe there's other projects we can work on together. And then there was this opportunity to design the identity for the MISC Fest. And the MISC Fest is an annual work in progress show of the Master's Performance Design and Practice. And so we decided to take it on and to create an identity that would represent this like whole hybrid of students that come together in this class. And that was actually quite tricky, because like all these practices of each and every student differed a lot. And like this course like really makes it up to the student to define, okay, what actually is this practice? What is how do you define performance design, for instance? Also like the medias they use differs completely. So we kind of had to create an identity that would kind of represent them all, but then also be open and like also give everyone space like for their own interpretation of their practice, obviously. So we decided to work with a yeah, 3D animation, 3D blob that would like move around space. And yeah, like kind of is still confined in a grid. So that's kind of this, yeah, kind of freedom for practice, but then still in this kind of canvas, what is the course. And that became kind of the leading motive of that identity. And then because this festival was supposed to last 3 weeks, we then just decided to work with different colors, and kind of give every week a different color, and then for like the overarching identity have like these colors merge or just keep it in white. So it was quite a playful identity, and it was, in the end, it was a lot of work, because also we wanted everyone to be happy with it, but it's almost impossible to get everyone happy with, yeah, one design to represent them in a way. But yeah, we finished the design, and then lockdown happened, and yeah, the festival got cancelled. It didn't even happen online, which was a pity. But what was very beautiful to see for us was that in the end, the students were still using this identity and like the animations we made on their social media, because yeah, they still put in work for their projects, for their installations, for their performances, which couldn't happen. But then it was very beautiful for us to see that our identity sort of, yeah, was still, gave them this space, at least digitally, so that they could say, okay, yeah, this should have happened. This should have been a festival, and that they could still show, yeah, how proud they were of their works, and kind of still having this identity to still kind of bring them together digitally. That was quite beautiful to see, and also rewarding for us. And then this is another project we want to show you today, and that is, that kind of also comes from the Central St. Martin's community, and that was, yeah, a more elaborate job with Gina Grünwald, who studies at CSM as well, and who is producing these highly customizable handbags out of offcuts from acrylic glass. And she was just about to like launch her business in the peak of the pandemic and the lockdown. So for her, it was important to get strong visuals that would, yeah, really pop in the digital channels, and to kind of generate interest on her products. And yeah, we really took this idea of like this kind of highly customizable, yeah, kind of premise of her products, and then also kind of using the plasticity of the material that she's been using, like kind of this reflective yeah, appearance of the acrylic glass. And then together with these elements, we kind of started building yeah, assets to use digitally, and also to art direct product shoots and stuff. So yeah, we created these 3D logo animations that would, yeah, kind of appear in lots of different digital assets that you can use on social media. I'm just gonna play these videos. And so we have like these, yeah, very chrome reflective logos together with footage of the bags kind of on top of mirrors. And here we can see, there's quite a lot of videos, but here we can see all those 3 different logos that we created, because we really love this idea of this like high customizability of the bags. And that's also what kind of led us to this idea of like, yeah, why do we need one logo? How, like, maybe this whole identity can be customizable, and with like different logos and different logo treatments, we can also attract different target groups digitally. So that's why we kind of isolated these 3 logos. Yeah, the one that is like like looks very flamey, that we always refer to it as the Hot Wheels version. Yeah, so just playing around with it, being just experimental, I guess, was great fun. And this is some work in progress of how we worked when we were doing these animations, very chaotic. This is another project that was a really quick job for the fashion label Lupal, who just really wanted, again, something strong digitally. And we quite like this kind of motion graphics, a kind of a little bit fluid and strong in colors. So we created this like background animation for her brand that uses latex for her pieces of clothing. So kind of taking this plasticity of the material to create background animations in the brand colors, and that she can use on the website, web store, Evites, whatever, etc., etc. And this project is still in the making. Like we basically finished all the web design, and now it's like basically being in web development. And that is basically a kind of rebranding of a website of a fashion collective called Collecci. And Collecci are like kind of a research platform hub in the fields of fashion and fashion education, who is like hosting, like usually was hosting lots of live events for discussion. But then they really realized during the pandemic that they needed to, kind of really adapt their whole, their whole working process to the digital, to the digital space. And so they wanted to have strong rebranding to kind of build their new digital home, and to not just be something that like the website that you would come across maybe if you would go to their live events and then, I don't know, get a business card and maybe look at the website, but like to really have this website as like kind of their base for information and discussion. So they wanted a key graphic, and the cool thing was is that one of their brand colors was already silver, and we like working with chrome material and silver and reflections. So they approached us and they were like, we really want a rebranding and we want like a chrome key graphic, and that for us was amazing because that's what we love to do. So here are just some sketches of like kind of animations that kind of the key graphic could have taken on. And there are like two different pathways that we were looking at, namely because Collecci in the first place has like 5 key values of voice, community, etc. And like these 5 key values we found quite interesting to kind of kind of also work in like a representative way, and to like maybe grow as like some organic pillars to kind of build Collecci out of these 5 key values. But when we were working on this, we kind of quickly realized that it communicates not very well what it actually is. So we did more iterations, and then we just really ended up with this very abstract kind of rotating like a ball like entangled. And that kind of for us was this idea of like representing this collective ideally, and also to still use like these organic structures to kind of resemble maybe like roots, like an organic kind of collective ball. And this is like the final animation of it. And just keeps on rotating. And then this would be how, like, this would be like the landing page of the website, and like on the bottom you can see like these 5 key values hovering, so that they're still present, but that kind of we really keep the collective in focus. And this is more like social media oops, sorry. Yeah, mobile application, how it would look like on mobile. And then again, the desktop preview that we already saw. And then the next project that we want to show you is Novizine. And Novizine is a fashion magazine that we are art directing and that we are basically now on the finish line with before we send it off to print. And we just successfully completed a crowdfunding campaign within 72 hours. And yeah, we made a little video for the crowdfunding campaign, which I will show it to you because yeah, I think that explains much better what Novizine is than me just rambling about it. So yeah, let me know if there's problems with audio, but we tried it before, so it should work. Yeah, and that music is actually from one of the artists that we are featuring in the magazine. So that was like a really cool like accumulation of like everybody's work input. And yeah, so Novizine will go to print anytime soon. We are now just finishing like all the like little bits and pieces of the design, make it perfect. And yeah, there's also a website for Novizine that we can maybe post into the chat later if you want to have a further look into it. And I believe that also like in the future there will be like a web shop on that website. So yeah, if I guess there will be ways to get copies on there. And yeah, kind of a little bit more about the kind of process about creating Novizine and yeah, how do you fund kind of the first issue of a fashion magazine or any kind of publication, which was tough. Yeah, like we basically came together out of the UAL community and like everyone was really was really passionate about this project, and like we got so many amazing contributors. And the creative director Johanna Kazalitska, she's like, yeah, she's just highly talented. And still, like, how do you fund this like massive project? And before we decided to do a crowdfunding campaign, we did enter this competition called Book in Progress, and that is a competition in Czechia about kind of selecting one project proposal about a publication, then completely funding it. And yeah, we entered it. Like there was lots of specifics that they were requiring in order to enter the competition, lots of concept development and like assets delivery. And of course, like I feel like you always question, okay, is all of this, will it be worth it if I put so much work into just entering a competition? Will it be worth it in the end? Should I even try? Yes, definitely. You should always try. And that's something that we learned from this competition, is that we didn't make number one, but we entered top 10 with this project. which was already amazing. And yeah, like in the end, our project was presented live in like a, yeah, kind of live broadcasted event where basically then all the people that were top 10 would again explain their project, and then you had a jury asking questions, and then in the end it was yeah, on the jury to decide who would get kind of the, yeah, this, pardon, who would get this funding. But like, even though we didn't win it, we didn't get the funding, it generated a lot of attention, especially in like, yeah, the scene in Czech, that it looks at publications, and yeah, looks at contemporary publications, and like we would get followers on our MT obviously an Instagram page just from this, which was very surprising, and like people reaching out to us and really expressing their support for our project and that they really love it. And that by itself was very rewarding. And that definitely, like, yeah, I learned a good lesson from that, just, yeah, entering these competitions, I guess. And yeah, here are just some spreads about the actual editorial design, and already featuring a couple of, yeah, contributions. And this is another work in progress. It's a collaboration with Adam Perusas, sound artist, and we are, yeah, we're basically developing 3D renders for him to then kind of connect with, yeah, his compositions. And this is, oops, sorry, and this is, yeah, like some work in progress animations that we were trying out and working with. It's just, yeah, now we're just so crazy busy that like all these like amazing yeah, projects that we have lined up, yeah, they take quite long in the end, because we, yeah, we need to finish so much work, which is, it's amazing, but it's busy. And this is another work in progress, and that is a collaboration with Ashno, or Analitka on Instagram. She's called Ashno, and that is basically a collaboration between a digital fashion designer and Studio Basic, and together we are really looking at this phenomenon of what is digital fashion, because it's been, yeah, it's kind of, yeah, been growing so big on social media and stuff, and we were really kind of, yeah, quite curious why, and what is kind of the fascination behind digital fashion, because like, don't we need fashion to kind of live in fashion, for it to be fashion? Or yeah, how do you kind of create an emotional connection with just digital products? How does this work? And like, we are kind of now creating these customizable, highly customizable, yeah, items of fashion together with Ashno, that we really want to kind of then take it into like augmented or even virtual reality spaces, and really have like create a space that like explores the phenomenon of digital fashion and gives a lot of tools for customization for the users there. And yeah, hopefully more about it soon. This was our presentation. Thank you so much for joining and for listening. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen, and yeah, I guess we can we can move to a Q&A session.
I'm really interested in your 3D work, the animations that you've been doing, and all the Chrome stuff. I was just wondering if you could sort of expand a bit on your process, sort of what technology you're using to make that sort of thing, and whether it's hard to sort of get the hang of it and stuff, because it's something that I'd like to sort of explore in my practice as well in the future. So yeah, that's really interesting.
Sure. Yeah, that is actually a really good question. And that, yeah, like that is something that Carolina and we were just teaching ourselves basically, but we really understood kind of the interest and also the need for people, yeah, that are still studying or just kind of starting out, like exploring visually as designers. and that was something that we would have loved to receive some kind of tutoring on, or workshops back at uni, and kind of, apart from all like this like heavily conceptual workshops, also maybe receive some more practical workshops. And we always found that, yeah, there was kind of a lack in this kind of facilities in uni, and then kind of really using, like being lucky if you have classmates that are like that already worked with specific software. You can ask them questions and like kind of together build knowledge. But yeah, like we just started like experimenting with Cinema 4D ourselves, and then kind of, yeah, really understood that this software is not difficult at all. It's actually quite easy, and it's very user friendly, and like we still felt that there is a lot of how to put it, like there is a lot of, like it feels for a lot of students, I guess, like that it's really much out of their comfort zone, because especially it's like really easy to make renders that just look very interesting, and I guess that kind of creates like a big gap of like, oh, I would like to do this, I don't know how to do this, like how about I just don't do it because I don't know how to. But yeah, we just started experimenting with the software, and then just like learning by doing, just really doing our thing. But that's also why we just started giving workshops to yeah, like classes to universities on yeah, 3D type design and variable type design. And that's also how we met, yeah, Josh and Bradley, yeah, back in the days. That was really cool. So yeah, we just really did it like really do it yourself kind of style, but
trial and error and that.
yeah. But it's really easy, and I can just encourage to just, yeah, keep on iterating.
So is your typography, I know you do a lot of type design as well, is that also done through Cinema 4D, or do you use different programs?
Yeah, so I mostly use glyphs for variable type design. But then it's, if you like, you can export, you can basically import your type into Illustrator and then export that as a file to then import into Cinema 4D. So it's quite easy to kind of take any kind of vectorized drawing, whatever element, and just kind of extrude it in a 3D space.
Great. Well, thank you. I'm gonna have to give that a try at some point.
Absolutely do. Thank you.
And what kind of, if I might jump on it, what kind of is really helpful to team up like with your mate and then have a conversation about this on and off? Because I feel like sometimes I feel like very frustrated if I cannot like straight and immediately translate like what you have like in your sketchbook or yeah, as an idea. And if you have a mate, it's just like so much, like it sounds very simple, and I hate like hearing myself, but it's just like so much more fun if like your pal or your best pal and just like can chat about that, because then you are constantly like in this conversation and in this feedback, and you are just like elaborating on your own idea. And if you have like someone you like truly trust, like in terms of design and beyond, suddenly it's like it goes so quickly, and it's not like, you know, this like scary sitting alone like in my room like doing comment in front of my computer and I hate everything, and then nothing is going like right or like not 100% right. So it's just yeah, like yeah, as we were talking before, like the collaborations and like the conversation, they help a lot, and then you just like do it and it happened, and you just don't even realize it happened. Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, but so it is, yeah.
No, yeah, I know that Josh has been experimenting with Cinema 4D and that as well, so I'll have to get together with him in a room and sort of just see what he can teach me, see what I can. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, good.
Liam's got something. So Liam says, how do you approach mocking up potential websites for clients that are convincing that they will work the way you want them to?
How do you approach mocking up websites for clients? Yeah, interesting question. I think It really always depends on the client and how the communication works with that specific client. Like, I think Caroline and I, we kind of always try to kind of establish like, okay, this is how we work for this kind of job. This is the communication, that's how we approach this. But it, yeah, like kind of, yeah, now working, yeah, longer and longer together with like various clients. Yeah, we really noticed that just communication with the clients, it just differs all the time, and that especially like mocking up or like showing them how the design can look like, how it can be applied, just always depends on the client really. Like for some of them it's like they're really on the same wavelength, and they really understand, and for some other clients like it really needs more explanation and like more elaborated presentations to really show them how it should look like in the end, how it will be done. Yeah, I don't know, Carolina, if you want to add something.
Regarding the first question, yeah, I feel like the mockup is like very useful, because then like anyone can see directly what you are trying like to make in specific stages of the project. But it's always like a question of capacities, because then like I feel like it's like not that efficient to mock up when you are developing like 2 or 3 different pathways, and you are just like talking about what kind of direction the whole project should take, and you are not even starting developing the actual design. I feel like that like wasting time on mockups, it's just like yeah, we need to challenge also like the audience, that they like and also establish like certain boundaries, that like that okay, this is what I'm gonna deliver. And what has been always like very useful, as Joe mentioned, is to kind of through the estimates and way of communicating with the clients, like be like very specific, and like okay, I'm gonna deliver this by that time, by the time, and there are like certain, like there will be like 2 or 3 like edits, and we have to make like specific decisions like on these dates, so everyone is like on the same page. Yeah, that's like really useful, because they obviously like as you all know, there's like nothing more frustrating than going back and forth, because then like you're just like in the circle. Yeah, classic one.
The second question in that message from Liam is, do you collaborate with people who are proficient in making your proposed websites a reality? I'm not sure if I understand that question. Do you mean if we collaborate with people that can do the web development? Maybe you can elaborate on that.
Should we go on? Yeah,
sorry.
Hey,
Yeah,
Liam.
no, hiya. I guess I kind of wanted to just like explore the whole idea of like, you know, if you're proposing an idea but you haven't really like tested how it works, you know, like certain hover states, and you know, like you obviously have a bit of knowledge around like web design and stuff like that, but do you kind of, is there a point where you will be kind of looking at it from a okay, we've proposed this idea of this is how it's going to look, but we can't actually do that because it's actually not achievable through code or something like that, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think like in our studio dynamic, I think we are like, when we sit together, we kind of get like, I get a lot of like I really trust Carolina's judgment so much that like when we sit together and we work and we have these ideas, we propose them, we give each other feedback, like I think like through this kind of process, we are then making these decisions, and then we are like really like that, like they're basically our red thread. And then like we always try to like really like, yeah, kind of really push for like initial branding ideas, graphic ideas, because that's also what gets us really excited about the projects, and to like, yeah, like really excite the client about, okay, this will be sick, let's really do this. To then like, I think like there, like the only compromises that happen and not so much from a technological perspective, but then just like really like kind of client communication process, and like some ideas we have for clients that are a little bit too, yeah, how to put it, but like I guess some design ideas would be a little bit too aggressive for some clients, and then kind of making compromises through that. But yeah, like in the end, like we do make like mock-ups of like, yeah, like some motion graphics of how like hover states could work, like we showed in the Colecci kind of desktop presentation, so we can also see for ourselves, but like mostly to really show the client, yeah, that they should really go for it.
Yeah. Thank you.
And I feel like also the limitation is like the time scale and the resources. So obviously you are kind of able to do anything when there's a possibility for it. And yeah, and this is like something like which needs to be communicated as well, like and in the first stages. Yeah, but it's just yeah, the classic ones.
Thank you. I think I find it quite difficult to navigate web design these days because there's a lot of stuff that like is aesthetically pleasing, but then like the functionality suffers sometimes. So I think like it's just one thing that's always on my mind. If it's aesthetic but it doesn't function, it's one of those things that it's, I don't know, it's kind of hard to get right and get that balance. But yeah, I love what you do. It's really good. Thank you.
But that is a really good point. Like there is a really big sort of discrepancy between functionality and just like visual impact. And yeah, and I think like good design kind of really balances this out, and like even better design can like really use these visual impactful elements to have a good function, or like to have like, yeah, a purpose to yeah, kind of appear in the way that they appear, if that makes sense. But yeah, it is a really interesting discrepancy, and I think yeah, that's just always part of the progress, dealing with those, sadly.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you, Liam.
Joe, I think there is like also the third question, and I read it out for you. Do you feel the concept changes a lot in the end product from what you originally intended because of certain barriers?
Oh yeah, sorry. Do you wanna?
You don't have to answer all my questions. Sorry.
No. Oh, cool. Yeah, I feel like how we work and what I've learned from Johanna, because she's like so next, is that we usually develop a couple of mood boards for a project, and then we have a chat with the client and kind of get the vibe on where it should go. And then in terms of next steps, we usually develop between like 2 and 3 pathways, and we elaborate on the elements we with the client kind of define as like key elements. And then through next conversation, we kind of develop the actual design from there. So it feels like very structured and going like from, okay, these are the possibilities. Okay, we want this, we want this, and then like being like very specific about it, but you still are the full research is in the background. So yeah, like very like intentional steps in terms of the development, and through the structure, it's like you can always go, and the client can always go, oh yeah, we meet these criteria and we did this decision because, and everyone feel like being like on the same page, which I think is like really important in the creative industry, because like we all feel like, oh yeah, this could go that way, and like on certain days you already forgot why you made this decision, and you get tired, or you get because you are developing it for such a long time. You are like not that excited eventually, and then you are like just, oh yeah, I meant this because yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think in the end, like what would then like create a certain kind of barrier is just sometimes budget from the client. Like for instance, if we kind of agree to this and that amount of changes, then yeah, like we have this working process, mood boards, pathways, and then it's kind of like, yeah, updates and like the specific development stages that the project is in. And then yeah, like if they want to have more changes than agreed, like then we also need to kind of create a new estimate. And I think that is really important to kind of create the structure for yourself as a practitioner, but also with the client, because like we really caught ourselves like just being so passionate about our projects that we would just, you know, work longer over hours and like tweak it. But yeah, like in the end, we just all have limited resources, and I feel like that sometimes creates some compromises maybe with the client. Like it's just kind of limited amount of resources that we are working with, and yeah, just trying to like not work on too many weekends in a row.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.